put it in the air. Fielded at the 9-yard line by Naz Worthen, up past the 20, and a good run back as Worthen brings it all the way out to the 39-yard line, and he's tackled by the man who kicked off, David Treadwell. Steve DeBerg, he's 36 years old. Of the starting quarterbacks in the league, only Steve Grogan of the Patriots would be older in his 14th season. And DeBerg in his backfield tonight. We'll take a look at it after the first play. But the key man, naturally, is number 35, who lines up as a sole running back in this set, Christian Okoye. And they begin with Okoye, who gets wrapped up, and a flag is down after a pickup of about 1.5 yards. Stop by. 1st and 20 from the 28-yard line. And it's Okoye. Picks up about 4. Jim Szymanski makes the tackle. Now the Bronco defense. Fewest points allowed in the league last year. Powers, Cragen, and Szymanski, the line. Fletcher with Munford getting the start, though he's been banged up. Brooks and Mecklenburg flipping. Mecklenburg going to outside, Brooks to inside this year. Braxton and Henderson are the corners. And the longtime veteran Dennis Smith with last year's outstanding rookie Steve Atwater are the huge safeties for the Broncos. We took a look at Mecklenburg, number 77, lining up as the right outside backer on 2nd and long as DeBerg retreats and has time and finds the open man underneath. That's Emil Harry out to the 39-yard line. It will be 3rd and 9 upcoming. Dennis Smith, the safety, makes the stop.
There's really no mystery to Kansas City's offense. They like to establish the running game, and as we saw on the first 2 running plays, they went right at Mecklenburg. A lot of people think that you're better off going at him than you are running away from him because he's great in pursuit. But they like to establish the running game. They can do that with Okoye and then go with play action. They're not very good out of a 3rd and long situation. They'd rather go play action, and this, of course, is not the situation where you go play action.
3rd and 9. Kansas City comes up in the shotgun. The crowd trying to make it difficult for the Chiefs to get the playoff, but they do, and the pass is thrown behind McNair, the intended receiver. And so the Chiefs will be forced to kick. Atwater covering on the play. So Kansas City to punt as the penalty put them in a hole. And Kelly Goodburn comes in to boot it away to Vance Johnson.
We talked about what Kansas City likes to do. It's interesting talking to Danny Reeves. He said that's what we want to do. We want to establish a running game. If they both work it out tonight, we'll be out here in about 1.5 hours.
Vance Johnson calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 27-yard line. And the Broncos will begin from there after a 35-yard punt by Goodburn. John Elway. Bad day last year, last week, any way you look at it. There are his figures through his career. Among other things, last week he suffered from heat exhaustion and had to come out in the 3rd quarter. Humphrey and Sewell are the running backs. Johnson and Jackson start as the wideouts, and Kay is the tight end. It's a banged-up offensive front, and as Dan talked about at the top, they had a difficult time last week against the Raiders. Mark Jackson is in motion from the 27-yard line. Bobby Humphrey over the right side and makes something out of nothing as he picks up 4 to the 31. The Kansas City defense with Neil Smith in his 3rd year after a so-so rookie year, bounced back last year. Sally Amua had a terrific year last year, and Bill Moss, the longtime nose tackle, moves outside. Martin, that's Percy Snow, the linebacker out of Michigan State, with Hackett and the great Derek Thomas, the linebacking core. Pearson and Ross are the corners. Porter and Donaldson are the safeties, and Albert Lewis has been activated, the Pro Bowl corner, but not in the starting lineup. But he will see some action tonight. He signed last week. 2nd and 6 from the 31-yard line. Humphrey, big hole, and out to the 36. He's short of the 1st down. When they line up, it'll be 3rd and a long 1 with Hackett and Martin in on the tackle. And there is Albert Lewis, and he will see some action here. He just signed earlier this week. He say he was in pretty good shape when he reported. And here he is.
Chiefs play the old classic defense. They challenge you. They're right up in your face on the flanks. They're right in your face in the bump and run. They'll play you man for man. You don't see that much of that anymore.
3rd and 1. And Humphrey has the first down as he takes it out to the 41, but there's a marker down. In fact, there are 2.
There was the Broncos
back. And they call Humphrey's number, and it's going to be close.
Well, did you see the difference, though, there? Did you see Kansas City, how they came right up on the line of scrimmage? Kevin Porter, the strong safety, was right on the line of scrimmage.
North Carolina State. Mike Horan to punt for the Broncos. And it's a line drive angle kick that gets a great roll and goes out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Not a pretty sight, but that'll look beautiful on the stat sheet.
No one will know.
No one will know, will they? 56-yard punt. Again, Riggins actually, and Gerald Riggs, and then Christian Okoye last year averaging 24.7 carries per game, or over 6 per quarter. And last week he started with 28 carries for 92 yards against Minnesota. Kansas City starts from the 7-yard line. And it's Okoye going nowhere, and there's a marker down. 2 of them, in fact.
The surge backwards.
Broncos decline the penalty at 2nd and 10. And here's Okoye again. And he rambles out to the 15-yard line. A gain of 7. It'll make it 3rd down and 3. Atwater in on the tackle for the Broncos. Okoye, 29 years old. If you don't know his story, from Nigeria. Went to Azusa Pacific College, which is in the Los Angeles area, but really didn't make a big name for himself there because you're playing in the shadow of USC and UCLA.
Of all the numbers he's had in discus, the hammer throw, the shot put, I was more impressed with the fact that he ran under 10.2 for 100 meters. That's remarkable.
3rd and a long 2 from just outside the 15. Play fake, which DeBerg does so well, and the receiver is wide open. That's Alfredo Roberts, the tight end, out to the 28. And that's been the trademark of DeBerg ever since he came into the league in '77. A great ball handler. And when you've got an Okoye to fake handoffs to, that makes you even better.
Yeah, I think you hit the right part, Al. It doesn't work unless you're faking the handoff to a Christian Okoye, and I think that's what we're going to see here. Look at Okoye go into the line. Will this guy draw a crowd?
And look at the way, Dan, how the linemen blow off, too, to make it look like run.
There's Brooks, Atwater. The 4 out of the 11 were on Okoye. No wonder it was such a wide-open play-action pass and a completion for the first.
1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. The fake again, the receiver open again, and this time it's Stephon Page, their number 1 wide out, who takes it to the 45-yard line, and Atwater makes the tackle. He led the team in receptions last year, did Page, with 44.
The wide receivers, Page, Manley, Thomas, they all catch the ball in those little short routes. They catch it in gaps. None of them have incredible burning speed, but they don't need that in the offense that we've been describing, and that is a play-action offense. You establish your run, you go to the play-action, you hit the seam, you hit the little quick ones like we just saw there.
Well, it fits their quarterback. Steve DeVerg doesn't have a burning, strong arm either.
There's Okoye, and he can't get on track this time as the Broncos penetrate and drop him for a loss. A loss of 2 to the 43. The charge led by Michael Brooks, who moved from outside to inside backer this year.
Well, this was a run blitz. This is something that the Broncos are going to do a lot tonight. They're going to attempt to play an 8-man front against the Kansas City Chiefs. They say if we're going to lose this game, Steve DeBerg is going to have to beat us passing. We're going to put 8 guys up. We're near the line of scrimmage. We're going to stop Christian Okoye, they hope, and force Kansas City to the air.
2nd and 13. Movement in the line, but no flags, and DeBerg checks off and hits Todd McNair underneath, and McNair takes the ball to the Broncos 49. It'll be 3rd and 5. Brooks and Munford converge on the stop. Steve DeBerg, he's 36 years old. He's been in the league since 1977. This is his first ever start on Monday Night Football and only his 2nd appearance on Monday Night Football in a 14-year career.
That'll tell you about the record of some of the teams he was playing with, though, too, and you consider the schedule Monday night usually has. He was kind of embarrassed about it when we talked to him about it last night.
Well, he started with the 49ers, but those were the pre-dynasty 49ers. And then to Denver, and then to Tampa Bay, and now in his third year with KC. 3rd and 5 from the 49. Out of the gun. Here come the Broncos on a rush. The pass is deflected and dropped among a trio of orange shirts.
Dennis Smith, the safety blitz, and Dan touched on it. The blitz now is just as effective, and maybe more so against the run than it is against the pass. What you really do, you take away all the gaps. Well, that time Smith came, and he was right into Berg's face.
Yeah, one of the key elements of a blitz, Frank, as you well know, is how well you time it. And Dennis Smith timed this perfectly. There he comes right up the middle, and just like a defensive lineman, his coach gets off the ground and gets into the face of the quarterback. Dennis Smith, a perennial All-Pro from Southern Cal.
On 4th and 5, here's Kelly Goodburn, who excelled last year in the coffin corner kicks. And this one gets a sideways bounce and goes out of bounds at the 7-yard line. A 42-yard kick by Goodburn to pin the Broncos deep in a scoreless first quarter with 6:18 to play in Denver. Career is at a tough time against KC. Low completion percentage, yards per pass, and look at that, 6 TDs, 23 interceptions. But on the flip side, he is 8 and 4 against them. Steve Sewell takes the handoff and gets it out to the 11-yard line, stopped by Percy Snow. So despite terrible numbers, a winning record against KC.
Those numbers don't get you a shot on the development squad. I mean, that is 6 touchdowns and 23 interceptions. Now, on the other side of that, you have to talk about the extraordinary secondary play of the Kansas City Chiefs throughout the 80s. The best defensive secondary in the National Football League year after year. So they have to get part of the credit for Elway's numbers.
2nd and 6 at the 11-yard line. Here's Elway's first pass of the night. And he rifles it, and it is dropped incomplete. Clarence Kay, who dropped a couple last week in L.A., hit by Kevin Porter as the ball gets there, and it will be 3rd down.
And you can hear the crowd murmuring a little bit about Clarence Kay because this is exactly the way he got it started last week in Los Angeles. This is very close to being possession. You could see that last shuffle right there. You have to get both feet down on the ground. It looked like, at least from that.
Stands at 3rd and 7, and Elway lines up in the shotgun. Buying time, and then going deep down the sideline, but way out of bounds. Not even close. Ricky Nattiel was trying to get loose, and Elway was chased by Dan Saliamua.
Man-to-man defense once again by Kansas City. They will go almost 100% with it. They are very confident. Kevin Ross had one cornerback, and pretty soon they'll have Albert Lewis, the other All-Pro cornerback, back full-time. He just, of course, reported, but it's a strong secondary that Dan just touched on.
That was a total snuff job there, Frank.
Had them all. Elway had to throw it out of safety territory.
Mike Horan, whose first kick was 56 yards. And this one won't even come close as it's off the side of his foot and out of bounds inside the 30.
There goes the contract you were talking about, Al.
Right. At least the average won't be that bad.
And here come some of the Boo Birds at Mile High Stadium.
Well, it's 56 plus 15 is 71, a 35.5-yard average.
The proverbial shank.
Yep. And the Chiefs are in excellent shape at the 27. 15-yard punt. Chiefs have it at the Denver 26. No score with under 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. And Christian Okoye plunges forward for a gain of 4, taking it down to the 23-yard line. Brooks and Cragen in on the tackle. Kansas City, trouble running the ball over the years. Lowest average in the NFL in that period between 83 and 88, as they kept seeking a good running back, and then finally picked up one when Okoye joined them. Second and 7, and Okoye again to the 22-yard line.
One thing about Okoye in that formation, a good look there of the Chiefs going with 4 wide receivers. Christian Okoye is not in there as a pass receiver. Few running backs in the history of the game have been utilized as little in the passing game as this guy. He only caught 2 passes all last year. 2 passes. Now, it's extraordinary to be in there that much and catch the ball so little.
You think you'd have a couple of deflections at least.
2 receptions, 370 carries. He's out. McNair comes in to join DeBerg in the backfield on the gun. And on 3rd and 5, it's dropped over the middle by Pete Manley on what would have been a first down.
Boy, and Steve under no pressure at all. DeBerg gets rid of that ball and just leads Manley a little too much. And Steve DeBerg not happy at himself of having squandered such good field position after the poor Haran punt.
One the Manley
But look
could
at
have
that.
caught.
Yeah, he could. That ball was a lot closer to Manley than it originally looked like from up here. That is a ball that Pete Manley could have caught and should have caught.
It means Nick Lowry comes in to attempt a 39-yard field goal. He's had a lot more success from this distance on artificial turf, a la Arrowhead Stadium in the past, than here. Goodburn to hold, and Lowry boots it through. Lowry and Morton Anderson and Gary Anderson all in a fight for the best percentage in the history of the National Football League. And another step forward for the Broncos. Good deep kick. A yard into the end zone, Montgomery. And the rookie out of Houston gets bumped down out at the 24-yard line. Not much of a drive for Mobley in motion from the 24-yard line. Elway completes it out to the 35-yard line. The Chiefs felt that Mark Jackson was out of bounds, but the official was there to rule otherwise. Kevin Ross covering on the play. It's an 11-yard pickup and a first down.
Jackson, again, man-for-man coverage by the Kansas City Chiefs. Was able to turn Ross around. He slipped coming back to Jackson, but again, he was fairly close. The ball had to be thrown perfectly, and Jackson coming down with both feet inbound.
Boy, nice work by Mark Jackson. Very nice.
He was about their only bright light on offense last week. Jackson in motion. Here's Humphrey trying to swing to the outside, but he got stopped in the backfield. Percy Snow knifed through. The best linebacker in the country last year. Won the Butkus Award. In fact, the year before, that award was won by Derek Thomas. So that's some quartet of linebackers for Kansas City.
George Perlis, his coach from Michigan State, unequivocal about it. He said it's the best linebacker I've been around. Big, tough, really good against the run and picking up the pass defense very quickly.
From Dan's hometown, Canton, Ohio.
Played his high school ball there at Fawcett Stadium, where we do the Hall of Fame game.
On 2nd and 9, the catch is made by Vance Johnson, his first reception of the evening, and he's out of bounds up at the 39-yard line after a short pickup run out by J.C. Pearson.
You know, guys, some of the teams that we see on a regular basis on Monday night, New Orleans and the New York Giants, we talk about the strength of their linebacking core, but it appears that Kansas City is building their club around their linebackers. Last year's #1 choice and Rookie of the Year, Derek Thomas, now #1 again, and Percy Snow, a Pro Bowler, and Dino Hackett on the other side, and Chris Martin, outstanding outside linebacker.
Martin, the unheralded one. On 3rd and 6, it's a first down and a lot more as Ricky Nattiel escapes the initial tackle and takes the ball to the 35-yard line. A 25-yard pickup.
Oh, boy, are they happy to see this on the part of Nattiel. He is, for almost a year now, been troubled with a very bad knee. One of the rare times you'll see the Chiefs go into the zone. You see the miss there by Chris Martin. And Nattiel spins out and shows the speed that made him a #1 draft pick for these Denver Broncos. They are happy to see that out of Nattiel.
Then Lewis came from behind to knock him down at the 37. A first down for the Broncos. Under a minute to play in the quarter. Here's Humphrey. Exploits a big hole. Inside the 30, the 20. Humphrey inside the 10. Touchdown Broncos.
This is what the Broncos wanted to see. Get the running game established.
Boy, it's the old counter play, the old counter tray, the off guard, the off tackle pull, but that time Bobby Humphrey just sees a huge hole to the backside. There you see Doriga and Perry both go, but look at Humphrey take it all the way back. Over pursuit by the Chiefs and their defensive team, and Bobby Humphrey able to slice it all the way back through the formation.
Extra point by Treadwell is good. And so Humphrey, who last week was held to a meager 24-yard output on 11 carries, takes it in here from 37.
Good, strong running. You see the cutback. Now you'll see him breaking the tackle there of Kevin Porter and then kicking it in to another gear into the end zone. And just like Danny Reeves said, he had to get better this year. He had to think last year about everything he did, learning the system. Even that, he was over 1,000 yards a year ago. Now it comes naturally to him, and you saw it right there. A natural reaction to break it back against the grain.
Did you see what big Gerald Perry, watch this guy right here, Gerald Perry, pulled. Doriga's going to lead too, but watch this guy right here. This is how you spring a ball carrier. 6'6", 310 pounds, and he just puts it away. There's Wydell putting a guy away. Great blocking up front. Great blocking up front. The block by Perry was a little bit out of the screen, but Wydell came in from the other side with another crushing block.
Well, that looked good on the film.
Oh, well, keep in mind how bad this group played against the Raiders. That must feel good.
Todd McNair takes the kickoff at the 7. Brings it out to the 25. Humphrey's touchdown is the first scored by the Broncos, period, this season. They were limited to 3 field goals last week, and the Chiefs, meanwhile, had not allowed a rushing touchdown in the equivalent of 6.5 games. 26 quarters. Almost half a season's worth.
Good play defensively and offensively.
And on that drive for Denver, Elway along the way was 3 out of 3. DeBerg retreats on 1st and 10. And too high off the fingertips of Stephon Page. 2nd and 10.
Frank, Steve DeBerg sparing no velocity tonight.
There is no touch on this. There was no touch on the last one that ripped through the hands of Page. And this one off the fingertips, I guess you could say he could have caught it, but that was smoking when it ripped through the fingers.
If it would have been just about a foot closer to Page, he certainly would have had a much cleaner chance at the ball. But wow, that thing was smoked.
DeBerg is 4 of 8. But he's 0 for his last 3. 2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line. Fake. Mecklenburg chases DeBerg and forces him to throw nowhere near Emil Harry. 3rd and 10.
They're 2nd down, 10, lining up at the 4 wide receivers. Play action. You forget the play action. It just is a habit, I guess, on the part of the Kansas City Chiefs because Denver was thinking pass all the way.
Watch Mecklenburg right in the middle of your screen. He's in there clean. There he comes to a stop after the fake to Okoye. And then he decides to get back in there and pursue DeBerg. Again, the wonderful play action passing of Kansas City. Steve DeBerg has to fall away. Doesn't get much on the throw. Nowhere close to a receiver.
3rd and 10, Kansas City from the 25. 4-man rush, and DeBerg under pressure, but gets it off to McNair. And with some nifty moves, McNair has the first down and plunges forward to the 44-yard line, doing his Okoye imitation.
Oh, and there came a guy flying in late. And we've got one of the Broncos. Boy, it looked like he was hurt. Boy, he got up. That Dennis Smith. Dennis Smith came very close to losing a knee. Let's watch this wonderful effort by McNair. And Steve DeBerg, under pressure by Warren Powers, gets it away. And Todd McNair turns in a good effort. End of the first.
And we start the second quarter. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf in Denver. Broncos ahead by 4. And Kansas City on 1st and 10 from the 44. Okoye out to the 50-yard line, a gain of 6. Well, it's been a while since the Kansas City Chiefs have appeared on Monday Night Football. 1983, their last appearance. Yep. 7 seasons.
DeBerg pointed out that he had never been on Monday Night Football.
Well, you knew that when Lamar Hunt made the move to go ahead and hire Carl Peterson as the guy who was in charge of the franchise, and then he in turn hires a proven winner in Marty Schottenheimer, that it was inevitable that the Kansas City Chiefs were going to return. I mean, organizations win games in this league.
And guys like Okoye help you do it as he picks up 14, taking it to the 36. And there is Lamar Hunt, as we said at the Open tonight. He was one of the original founders of the American Football League, and Carl Peterson is behind him. He owned the Dallas franchise. The Broncos were an original team as well, owned by Bob Howsam at that time.
That's Peterson in the white shirt directly behind Lamar Hunt in the with a striped tie.
A lot of connections with Marty Schottenheimer. He coached the Philadelphia Eagles tight ends back in the 70s when Schottenheimer was coaching linebackers for the Giants.
First down, Kansas City at the Denver 37-yard line. DeBerg off the fake, throws, and it's caught at the 19-yard line by Emil Harry for another first down. And ABC's Monday Night Football. Dennis Smith is on the Denver bench. You saw him shaken up at the end of the first quarter at the 19-yard line. DeBerg throwing for the end zone, but too far, intended for Rob Thomas, an emerging young wide receiver and the son of a guy you played with, Frank.
Son of Aaron Thomas. Started in San Francisco, and then I played with him several years with the Giants. And he runs like his father, has kind of that wide stance, and he has superb hands and blinding speed. And talking with Al Sanders of the Kansas City Chiefs earlier, he said, we see a lot of the youngster tonight. And meanwhile, Dennis Smith has gone into the locker room. He was shaken up. He was holding the lower right leg, and we'll try and get a report on him.
He went limping in there. Randy Robbins, the veteran, spells him at strong safety at second down and 10 at the 18-yard line. Page.
Whoa!
Oh, what a hit by Braxton.
Hello. I believe this is what's known as your legs got a little farther out in front of you than you wanted them to be. Watch Stephon Page get caught after making this catch. He's going to try to make a move up the sideline. Tries to stop a little bit, and Tyrone Braxton catches him up in the air.
Broncos really don't play the man very well. Braxton was laying off by 10 or 12 yards.
Third and a short 2 from the 10-yard line. Can Okoye get the short 2? Thanks to Steve Atwater, the safety.
That was a matchup we were looking for all night long. We talked about it earlier. Atwater is huge for a safety. The #1 draft pick last year from Arkansas and an all-pro rookie. Huge at 6'3", 217.
And he that time lined up in a linebacker's position. Steve Atwater right on the line of scrimmage. Christian Okoye takes the handoff, and Atwater is unblocked on the line of scrimmage. And I don't know if there was a tendency that the Broncos saw there, but they were ready for the play. There's Simon Fletcher limping off the field, the talented outside linebacker.
Okoye is not an east-west runner, and he'll tell you that first of all. He's got to turn it upfield, and that time the Broncos strung it out, and he came up short.
Lowry now to attempt a field goal of 29 yards. Goodburn will hold. He'll put it down at the 19. He would move momentarily in front of Morton Anderson's all-time lifetime percentage if he's successful here. And he is.
Lowry and Anderson got a great thing going here, don't they?
Lowry and Morton Anderson and Gary Anderson of Pittsburgh. They get battle as well. Lowry, the kickoff. And another good deep kick. Fielded 5 yards in the end zone by Alton Montgomery, and they'll take it at the 20-yard line. Good doubleheader coming up. Bring that up, Dan.
That's okay. That's all right.
So I had to
The
stay up
Wolverines,
for it.
they played well against Notre Dame.
They did.
Played very well. Should have won the game. Ooh, here comes the hate mail again.
From the 20. Here's Humphrey. Takes it out to the 27-yard line.
Guys, I want to toss this out. This just came to me while we were looking at that graphic about the field goal kickers. All of them modern-day players. Do you think part of the reason the percentage is so high is that they changed the rules about blocking field goals. You know, you can't climb up on a guy's back anymore. You can't take that running start and like you used to. In the old days, Frank, those guys could do some pretty extraordinary things to block a field goal.
I think so, and the fact that more and more they're all playing in domes. A lot of games are being played in domes.
That's, you know, it may not have anything to do with it.
Well, second down and 2. It's a good point as Elway scrambles and picks up the first down. Slides down to the 32. The other thing, Dan, is keep in mind all of the older field goal kickers with the straight-on kickers.
Right.
And all of the newer kickers are the soccer-style kickers.
And, of course, they have artificial surface now, so they seem to have a smoother, more solid footing. A lot of things went into that, but that's interesting when you look at a record like that all 5 of them are modern-day kickers still in their prime. And there is Nick Lowry.
Boy, he was popping some tonight. We were down on the field, and he was hitting it easily from 50 yards out. But again, it's good to kick in a dome stadium. It's not bad kicking here at Mile High Stadium where the air is a little thinner. You can kick it much further.
First down, Denver from the 32-yard line. Fake toss to Humphrey. And the pass to Clarence Kay. He makes a juggling catch. Gets it out to the 39. It's a gain of 7.
Did you see the acceleration by Derek Thomas? I mean, starting from scratch, he rides the tight end down. Watch him ride Clarence Kay to the inside. Sees the rollout by Elway, but this is tremendous acceleration. And, of course, John pays for that acceleration. Let's take another look at this. Look how quickly he gets upfield and able to get into Elway and force that throw. And there's where John is thankful that this is played on a natural grass field, a softer landing.
No, too, Dan, that Denver has always got somebody over his face.
Second and 3. Humphrey on a delay out to the 42-yard line. That's very close to a first down.
Yeah, the point Frank just made is a good one. Dan Reeves says that he wants someone in the face of Derek Thomas almost all game. He wants a tight end or a back to line up across from him. Feels that he operates in space, unblocked, untouched. Of course, who doesn't? But, of course, he might have to take on a blocker in the backfield. But he wants him to have someone in his face at the line of scrimmage. A tremendous talent from Alabama. They've been turning out some talented ball players. Of course, we've already seen what Derek Thomas's classmate, Bobby Humphrey, can do.
Classmate, and he said yesterday just about his best friend.
They talk all the time, and what a difficult situation this has to be. Derek Thomas lining up across and having to tackle and perform mayhem on the body of Bobby Humphrey. And
well, I don't think it's that difficult. If he gets hold of the body, he'll twist and mangle it, I'll tell you that.
Easy for me to say. I almost just fell out of my chair talking. Thanks for catching me, Jimmy.
Elway comes up on 1st and 10 and first down Denver from the 42. 8:45 to go in the half. Broncos lead 7-6. Elway, again the tight end Kay, and he's across the 50 to the Kansas City 48-yard line for a gain of 9. One difference between these teams, if Denver is to win, Elway has to have a good year. But if Kansas City is to win, it doesn't necessarily have to be through a good year by DeBerg.
No, totally different roles, Al, by the quarterbacks. John Elway's role with the Denver Broncos is to win games. Steve DeBerg's role with the Kansas City Chiefs is to not lose games. No, that is a big difference, a very big difference.
Well put. 2nd and 1. Here's the flea flicker as Humphrey back to Elway, and then Elway's pass to Johnson is caught at the 5.
Tom Landry, pass the popcorn.
Kevin Ross was taking one look into the backfield, got himself frozen up. Vance Johnson kind of drifted down and kicked in the speed. Ross caught looking, and Elway kind of underthrew it a little bit, but he wanted to make sure.
For a minute, I thought it was Tony Dorsett flipping it back to Roger Staubach.
Humphrey hitting into the line of scrimmage, back to Elway, and here comes Ross, who had taken the peek at Humphrey coming into the line of scrimmage, got frozen for just a moment, and that was all Johnson needed.
On a 2nd and 1, pretty much a free play, and they make very much the most of it. 1st and goal after a 43-yard pickup. Split backs for the first time in the game. Touchdown, Humphrey.
Oh, you can throw it, you can run it, and vice versa. And Denver's got it working on both ends of the coin.
Well, they've had a 76-yard drive, and they have followed that one up with an 80-yard drive.
Tremendous blocking by this offensive line again that had a tough time last week. See the pull by Jariga, the first guard through the hole. And Bobby Humphrey this time just follows his blockers. A natural hole up the middle. You see Gerald Perry blocking on Bill Moss, and Bobby Humphreys easily into the end zone.
Treadwell to kick, Kubiak to hold, and the Bronco lead is 8.
Like again, the fake will be to Humphrey right there. Now Ross is covering out on the side, out on the left flank. Johnson, he takes a look into the backfield, and Johnson blows right by him. Touchdown, Denver.
Bobby Humphrey had a long afternoon last week in Los Angeles. He, like Elway, suffered from heat exhaustion, but he's giving Kansas City some exhaustion tonight.
Bobby Humphrey is telling us that next time we see the Broncos, it ought to be him walking through the smoke as we go on the air.
Instead of Okoye. Kick taken at the 5-yard line and run back out to the 24 by Pete Manley, and there's a marker down. In fact, a couple.
This marker looked like it came out of the upper deck. There's the flea flicker. A look at the long pass from Bobby Humphrey back to John Elway, and of course he finds Vance Johnson, or as he likes to be known, the Vance.
If you're going to do it, you do it on second down and real short yardage. It is a waist down. Al pointed that out. You come right back with Humphrey, and Dan Reeves is getting what he wanted.
On the return, number 23, the first down.
He's getting good blocking by that offensive line, something that was totally lacking last week against the Raiders. But then again, it's a much healthier offensive line than he had a week ago. He couldn't work them out before the Raider game, and this past week he really put them to the test. They went back to the pads. They did a lot of running, and he said, we're going to get in condition to play this game.
And they're home. That makes a big difference.
They are home.
It does help.
At the 14-yard line, the Broncos, after that 80-yard drive, lead 14-6. And DeBerg commences this drive by giving the ball to Okoye, but he can't get on track. Mark Munford, who was banged up so severely earlier in the week, they were thinking about putting him on the inactive list. But he's healthy enough to play and makes the tackle here.
Yeah, once again, they strung Okoye out, and he is not going to hurt you if you get him going sideways. He cuts back better than you might imagine for a 260-pounder, but he does not do his best running. Far from it. When you string him out, and the Broncos, whether by design or happenstance, have been able to do that, and he is getting nowhere.
That last play was out of a straight I formation. Now they're back into their traditional one-back set.
2nd and 10 from the 14.
Well, I think it's safe to say that here comes an audible.
Play clock is down to 1. And they get it off, and Okoye moves through the hole and gets gang tackled up at the 21-yard line. Munford hitting him, and Robbins and Fletcher and Atwater. We talked about John Fourcade last week and his travels in New Orleans. What about Steve DeBerg? In '77 in San Francisco, he gets bumped out of a job by Montana. Comes to Denver, and along comes Elway. Goodbye, DeBerg. He goes to Tampa. They draft Vinny Testaverde, and he winds up in Kansas City.
You know, he actually was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, so we could have put another little figure up there. The Cowboys cut him.
Right, back in '77.
Well, as far as Steve is concerned, that was many paychecks ago.
3rd and 4 from the gun. And DeBerg with a low throw, but a nice catch made by Page, who goes to his knees to corral it and takes it out to the 28-yard line, covered by Braxton.
Page doing what he does best, and here comes again the blitz. And DeBerg spots Page, who also reads the blitz, pulls it up short, but pulls it up with enough savvy to get the first down. That's heads-up play by Stephon Page.
That's exactly what it was, Frank. That was a blitz adjustment by Page. He saw Randy Robbins coming on the blitz. The minute he sees that, all bets are off. The routes shorten up, but he had the awareness to get the first down.
1st and 10, and look at the Broncos lining 9 men up on the line with 1 linebacker and then Atwater back as the free safety.
They want the nightmare.
Now the corner's back up, but the pursuit and penetration is there as Greg Cragen stops Okoye in his tracks.
Well, there's a situation where you really have to wonder why you don't see DeBerg go to an audible. I mean, it just appears so obvious that Denver is stacking the line of scrimmage, overplaying the run, that that's the perfect situation for a quarterback to go ahead and make that quick read and go ahead and dump the ball. Call a pass. Because Denver's going to do it. They're going to overstack the line.
Denver loves to take away that first down. Now they can play the pass and anticipate the pass.
2nd and 11 and a more conventional look defensively for the Broncos, but Mecklenburg
And that's
sacks
going to be
him at the 17.
And that'll be intentional grounding.
Or in the grass, take
No.
your choice.
I think we'll have an intentional grounding.
Yep.
That's the call.
We talked earlier about how tough it is to run away from Mecklenburg. When he has a free assignment as he did then, he just came off on the blitz. And no way DeBerg could move away from him.
He's going to beat Alfredo Roberts, the tight end. I mean, just cleanly upfield. The rule reads, if you throw the ball.
Number 17. 10 yards and lost it down.
Yep.
It'll be third down.
One of the biggest penalties in the game because it includes a loss of down. But if you throw it with the sole intent of evading a sack, that is intentional grounding. That's a good call.
And one thing they do not have in their arsenal, the Kansas City Chiefs, is a deep passing game.
3rd and 21. They have to get it to the 38 for the first down. They throw it underneath to McNair, and he's tackled at the 22-yard line by Braxton. Loose ball, but after the whistle. So Kansas City will be forced to punt with 3:35 remaining in the half.
3 minutes, 40 seconds. 3:40.
Clock had gone to 3:35, and Sonny puts 5 more seconds back on it. 3:40 to go.
Well, Steve DeBerg there, I guess, made a decision that he couldn't force the ball deep. One of the things that he is doing better is not forcing the ball into the situation. Better to take that short completion, go ahead and punt, better than turning the ball over in your own territory.
Kelly Goodburn to kick it.
To the fan.
Yep. Powering kick. And the Vance makes a fair catch at the
Vance got bumped.
But no flag after a 42-yard kick. And the Broncos have the ball and an 8-point lead on ABC.
What a celebrated pregnancy that would be.
From the 35-yard line, Elway goes deep and has it batted away. Intended for Sewell, and Kevin Porter got the hand up to knock it awry.
Denver out in front 14-6. And one thing that Marty Schottenheimer doesn't want to happen is another touchdown by the Broncos, because Kansas City is not your basic catch-up team. They're ball control. They're hammered a little bit. They're not going to get you on deep passes. They're going to have a tough time coming back.
Good coverage here by Porter. He's moved into that starting role. Lloyd Burris, forever the strong safety of the Chiefs. He's now relegated to a backup position. He was one of the great ones.
2nd and 10. And it's dropped. It is a completed pass.
I think it's
Fumble.
a live ball.
Kansas City recovers. Orson Mobley dropped it, and Albert Lewis recovers it.
Boy, an absolutely nothing pass route by Orson Mobley. Just runs about 8 yards or so down the field and button hooks.
And Danny made a great job catching it. John really zipped it in there. He handled the ball and then coughed it up, and now all of a sudden Kansas City's got good field position. Denver had a good shot to really almost take Kansas City out of this game. Look at these, he drills it in there. He handles the ball well with his hands like he should, and then all of a sudden, if anything, he's stripped as Dino Hackett grabbed him by the left arm and gave it a tug.
Well, let's take a look at that again if we could one more time, Kenny and Craig. Let's watch the feet.
And replay's looking at this as well right now.
Well, you could see it appeared from that angle that Orson Mobley did have both feet on the ground and possession of the ball at the same time.
It certainly pulled
It was very close. It was very, very close. If he only had one foot on the ground and the ball came loose before the second foot got on the ground, that would be ruled an incomplete pass.
Another one of those Pro Bowl defensive Kansas City Chiefs, Dino Hackett. Look, he reaches in, pulls as hard as he can, and you see the judge is, again, 2 feet have to be on the ground, and he has to have the possession.
We're back, though, to remembering that it was ruled.
Catch and fumble, first down.
It was ruled a catch and a fumble, and we would have had to have seen something conclusively overturning that, and we certainly did not. So the call of the referees on the field, of the officials on the field, is backed up by the booth.
First down, Kansas City at the 43-yard line. 3:15 to go in the half. Chiefs have all of their timeouts.
DeBerg changed, and the Broncos changed off their defense.
And Okoye cannot get on track. Michael Brooks gets credit for the tackle. They try to turn him into a wishbone.
Denver playing mind games with Steve DeBerg. Now, they've done that a couple of times. They have come up there, set in one defense. DeBerg changes his offensive call, and then Denver changes the defense.
Well, that is true up to this point in time. The nightmare has broken loose for a couple. What Denver is doing is they're walking their offside linebacker up on the line of scrimmage. He's slicing through from the backside. When Okoye attempts to cut back, there's that unblocked linebacker. Here comes Michael Brooks again.
They fill the middle. They blitz on second down, and the pass is caught by Alfredo Roberts. And the tackle by Steve Atwater was an important one. Otherwise, Roberts had room to roam.
Good read by DeBerg and a good read by the tight end, but what does it do? It gets 3 yards.
Well, it's better. It's still a play, Frank, that I think they have to make. Denver is forcing them into the situation where they're going to have to throw the ball. They are not going to get anywhere handing it off to Okoye with 8 Denver Broncos on the line of scrimmage. If they continue to do it, they'll lose the ball game.
Down to the 2-minute warning on 3rd and 9. That's upcoming when play resumes, as we have 2 minutes remaining in the first half. In Denver, where the Broncos lead the Kansas City Chiefs.
More like a punt than a pass play.
3rd down and 8. And DeBerg has the open man for a first down. Getting loose was Emil Harry at the 28-yard line. Turned outside, makes the catch, and they picked up a key first down with 1:45 remaining. Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator for the Broncos, whose defense has yet to yield a touchdown this season. Remember, the Raiders last week scored 2 touchdowns on defense against Denver's offense. And tonight, KC with 2 field goals. The catch is made by Rob Thomas, who takes it to the 11. The second-year man we talked about earlier out of Oregon State, the son of the former Giant Aaron Thomas, has a first down at the 11-yard line.
And they love the way he moves. They call him Popcorn. He's not all that big, 5'11", 171-pounder, but reads the zone defense on the part of the Denver Broncos, spots a little opening, and DeBerg was right in sync with him, zips it in.
Kansas City has called a timeout down on the field. One interesting development concerns Ron Holmes, certainly the most talented pass rusher of the Denver defensive linemen. He's been out the last couple of plays. He's going back into the lineup right now. Looks like he stretched a leg or something.
And it's the inside handoff to McNair. And a 6-yard pick. They can't pick up a first down without getting a touchdown. And it's knocked away by number 24,
and there's a flag.
Henderson, but a penalty.
There comes a late flag.
Intended for Manley.
Wyman Henderson was all over Manley, but was he there early? Yes. 24 is Henderson. Manley tries to fight through him, and he's riding him all the way, but he hasn't gone beyond 5 yards. There is the interference. He got in early, banged on the left arm, but it was close.
Very close.
When you're down there deep in your own territory, inside what they call the red zone, you've got to play an offensive receiver very close.
But they're going to call it against.
Right. They're going to call it against Manley. He was pushing off of Henderson, who has every right to do what he's doing. Now, if Manley goes up the field over 5 yards, he has to get off him, but he can ride him for those 5 yards, and he played a beautiful defensive corner right there.
Wow. I don't see that one.
So you got to play it that way when you're down that close and you're man-to-man.
I don't see that one.
No way. It's 2nd and 14.
These are big boys playing this game here now.
2nd and 14 from the 15-yard line. DeBerg has it knocked down and right into the arms as Simon Fletcher knocked it away, but Frank Winters was right there to keep possession for Kansas City. At the 21. Winters was on his back, and the ball just rolled into him.
I didn't see any motion on the arm of DeBerg. That a fumble all the way. And look where the Chiefs are after having been down on the 5-yard line.
And they let the clock run. They still have 2 timeouts. They're at the 21. They have to get to the 1 for a first down. This is a 3rd down play. The catch is made by Page, and he's tackled at the 14. by Steve Atwater. And they'll take a timeout. It'll be 4th down and bring in Lowry.
Boy, they were slow getting that timeout. They
puts it down at the 21-yard line, and the kick is just good. Just inside the right upright. More significant stat is fewest points allowed, in which Denver led the league last year. Time for only the run back here off the bouncing kick. This is Melvin Bratton. And that's the end of your first half from Mile High Stadium. Broncos go off the field, leading 14-9. We'll return with halftime activities after this message from the National Football League. And a word from our ABC station.
Had his career before last week when everything came apart against the Raiders.
At the 1-yard line, Montgomery runs it back to the 24-yard line and really takes his shot.
And he's still down, Al.
Yep.
Save me from special teams.
There he comes up late.
Barry Word was the guy that hit him, and then Rogers came in to give him a second blow.
Why would anybody really want to do this?
Breaking it back in the middle, I'll tell you, that's pretty gutsy. When you cut it back, you usually are going to either pop it for a big one or you're going to have something happen like this happen.
Barry Word, who backs up Okoye
and goes about 235
and plays on special teams. So after the penalty, it's a 2-yard difference. Instead of the 22, they start from the 24, and Elway throws to Johnson, and Johnson seeking that first down. Very close to it.
Don't you just know that was something they picked up in the first half? They said, look, we bring him around, we bring him in motion, they're not picking him up, they come right out, bang, they go with it.
And as often happens in an offensive series, that play sets up another play. I assume it won't be too much longer before we see that motion again. Here's the reverse angle. The Vance is going to take down one of the ball boys on the sideline.
It's not a first down, and the last time they had 2nd and 1, they went for the flea flicker and turned it into a long gain. This time, more conventionally and conservatively, they pick up the first, and we've got a flag as Humphrey moves to the 35. Game on national television?
Well, we can only hope.
2nd and 10. Elway, and it's incomplete, throwing it out of bounds. 2 receivers. Elway with a lot of time and going deep for Michael Young, who makes the catch. And he's out of bounds at the 35. The Plan B pickup last year, who made so many critical and key catches for Denver, and he does it here on 3rd and long.
Well, one of the rare times you're going to get Kansas City in the zone, and Elway, whether you read it or not, there is a little pass off, and all of a sudden Michael Young is in that free area, and it was Steve Sewell who also made a fine block there to give Elway the time to deliver it. But a good read by Michael Young and Elway. Kansas City doesn't play that zone very often, and they really exploited it.
An average throw.
42-yard pickup, 1st and 10 from the 35. Humphrey on the counter goes nowhere, loses the football. Pile up at the 32-yard line, no signal yet, and now we do. Kansas City.
Oh, boy.
Chris Martin recovers the fumble, and Saliamua and Smith were the guys who knocked it loose.
And it was a sandwich job on Bobby Humphrey, hit simultaneously from both sides. Saliamua comes in from the backside, and Bobby Humphrey coughed it up, but you can hardly blame him taking a double shot like that. Watch it here from the other side. Here comes Smith from the one side with the hat. Saliamua from the backside. Bobby Humphrey never had a chance.
It's over 500 pounds involved in that sandwich.
1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. Page is wide open as the cornerback fell down. He's to the 40 and out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Well, Tyrone Braxton fell down, and Page was free as a bird for a 33-yard pickup.
Well, the dreaded combination there, guys. We not only had the cornerback fall down, but then we had a missed tackle. I think Randy Robbins ends up missing the tackle. There goes Braxton down.
Playing for the hit on the zone, and a good move by Page. He read the zone, caught the ball in the gap, and then breaks the tackle.
1st down, Kansas City. There's Robbins playing in place of the injured Dennis Smith. First and 10 at the 35-yard line. Fake to Okoye. That freezes the linebackers, and then the pass is not caught by Bill Jones, who did catch a touchdown pass last week against Minnesota. Over the top of his head, and he couldn't hold it in. And he was free.
Good touch by DeBerg. He was under a lot of pressure. He found Jones, who was probably very difficult to even see, coming out of the backfield as he did. Here's DeBerg now. He'll step up, and then just a little touch pass. Here's Jones looking it into the hands. You got to catch that. He's got 6 points if he does, and he just doesn't handle it.
Second and 10, Kansas City at the 35. Early third quarter. Broncos lead by 5. Okoye. Led by a passel of Bronx. Led by Cragen.
It's early, but the Broncos have pretty much taken Okoye out of this game. And it's just hustling. They've strung it out, made him cut back into the defense, and he's not good at that. But they've been putting also a lot of hats on him.
Well, you can almost see the frustration and the little arch in the back, the way Okoye walks off the field. He's not used to having this kind of a day. Again, though, Denver forcing Kansas City to win this game or attempt to win it by throwing the ball.
Third and 10. 4-man rush. Good protection for DeBerg. And then it's incomplete. Good coverage on the play. Intended for Page. But Elliott Smith, number 28, was right there shadowing him.
Well, I think Page slipped when he made his cut. He went to plant and come back, and it looked like he had a foot go out from under him and went down to the ground, got back up, but by then the ball is underthrown. I mean, DeBerg is throwing to where he thinks Page is going to be. There he goes down, and that step, that little loss of movement is what made the ball appear to be underthrown. This is actually an extremely well-thrown ball by Steve DeBerg. It's a slip by Page and screwed up the timing.
Meanwhile, Lowry's going to attempt a 53-yard field goal unless they fake it from the 43-yard line. From artificial turf, he's 50% from this distance, 1 of 5 on the grass, and this kick is short.
He didn't hit that like he would have liked to have hit it. We watched him pump a bunch of them from 55 earlier tonight. Here in Denver off the...
Here's Humphrey swinging to the outside with room to roam. And a 12-yard gain, and he is tackled by Percy Snow and Jeff Donaldson.
I don't know whether you noticed that or not, but that can really hurt you on a man-for-man defense. The 4 wide receivers in there, they all took off upfield. The defensive backs for Kansas City, they had their eyes on the receivers. They didn't even know Humphrey was carrying the football, and he got a lot of additional yardage out of it because nobody was coming up to put on the force.
On the battle of the running backs tonight, Bobby Humphrey clearly running away with this one. He's the dominant runner on the field, not Christian Okoye.
First down from the 47-yard line, and here's Humphrey, and this time there's no place to go as he's stopped at the line of scrimmage by Neil Smith, and it really hasn't been a battle of the running backs tonight. It's been a one-sided duel at the moment, with Humphrey clearly.
I don't think Okoye is even averaging 3 yards a carry. I think he's somewhere in the 2s. It has been a frustrated night for him. He had 2.6. Humphrey 6.9 per carry, but look at the last one. He's got a pair of touchdowns.
Second and 10 from the 47-yard line. Elway that time ran into Humphrey and then throws to Bratton, and he can't go anywhere as Porter makes the tackle, and Elway got too close to Humphrey on the fake that time, and that effectively ended the possibility of a big play.
Yeah, Neil Smith almost ended John Elway.
Too close to Elway.
I think if John had to describe this play, it might be his proximity to Mr. Smith that was the big problem.
Dan and I were looking him down the field earlier, and he is one huge man and a quick one.
He was their #1 draft choice back in '88.
4 stops last week. He had a sack. He forced a fumble. Tough against the run.
3rd and 13, and the Chiefs jump. So a free play for Elway. And he throws, and the open man makes the catch at the 25, Vance Johnson.
You see that so often. Kansas City was Bill Moss, who was across the line. But what happens is the Chief defensive line.
Offside. Defense penalty declined. First down.
The whole Chief defensive line just stopped rushing. It's a free play. Watch the whole front four. Go ahead and roll this.
And watch Elway. Watch that hard count. That's what brought him off.
Now there's Moss across the line, but look at Neil Smith just stand there. Moss just stands there. These guys are on vacation, not realizing it's a live play.
I'll tell you something that nobody noticed on that play. Elway may have been across the line of scrimmage. At the 26-yard line, here's Humphrey taking it to the 21 for a gain of 5. If he was, it doesn't matter now because they've run the next play. He was pretty close. The line of scrimmage was the 44.
When you can warn a defensive team down over and over and over, Elway with that hard count he's going to get to, and he usually catches the team once or twice a game with it. Comes out there and he goes along with the rhythm, and all of a sudden he comes up with a hard count, and here they come.
You're right, Al. That's a good spot. He was close to being across the line of scrimmage. Looked like he was right at it, though.
We'll have a chance to take a look at it in a moment. 2nd down and 5 from the 21-yard line. Bratton picks up 2 to the 19. Take a peek now.
All right, here is the line of scrimmage right here. It's the 44-yard line. Keep an eye on that. Now let's see what John does. Here he comes. He crosses the 40. 41, 2, 3. Yeah, the feet were not across the line of scrimmage, Joe, when he threw the ball.
And this year, that's what they're looking at.
Yeah, they're going by where the feet are. His foot lands on the 45, but the ball was already gone when he came down on the 45.
3rd down and 3, and the catch is made by Johnson for a first down inside the 5 and out of bounds, and he is taken up. Might have pulled something. 1st and goal. He was taken out by Lewis, Albert Lewis, number 29.
He was able to shake the first defender. Elway rifles it out into the flat.
I'm not so sure he didn't get kicked.
And here comes Lewis into the play.
Oh, it was that shot. The
Vance gave him a tremendous shot on the shoulder. Vance spun around like a top, and I'm not so sure he knew where the end zone was.
I'm not sure the Vance knows where the Vance is.
Lewis goes about 6'2", and he will pound you.
1st and goal from the 3. Humphrey gets about half the distance. 2nd and goal. 7:25 to play, 3rd quarter. Broncos with a 5-point lead and trying to stretch it to 12.
Well, when you have a great defensive team, which both of these clubs do, but specifically now talking about the Chiefs, this is where you ask them for something special. This is that stage of the ball game where you ask them to rise. You ask them to come up with a big play, force Denver into a field goal. A field goal here is a major victory for Kansas City.
And on 2nd down, Elway not even close. Mobley was the intended receiver, but he was well covered on the play. Chris Martin reading it from the outset, just stayed right with him, and Elway had no place to go with it.
And you ask that defense, Matt, because you are not a team, the Kansas City Chiefs, that comes from way back. You're a ball control team. You're a defensive team looking to make the break. Yeah. But you're not a team that can come out there and throw the ball deep and get a lot of points very quickly.
And here goes Denver. They'll spread the field now. Even though they're down inside the 5-yard line, they'll spread the field effectively in there with 4 receivers. One of them Sewell.
Jackson in motion, 3rd down and goal. And Elway on a quarterback draw, touchdown.
Oh, boy.
They came right out of the movies.
Yeah, beautiful. Spread the field, and then attack the middle. Spread the defense and operate in the middle.
The hours and hours that the assistant coaches put into looking at tapes and films. They know exactly what Kansas City was going to do in that formation, that play put in for just this one particular situation.
Well, watch the left side. They pulled Jariga and Perry. Here comes Jariga and Perry. The backside is sealed off. You got 600 pounds out in front of you lead blocking. Boy, what a good-looking play. What a good-looking play by the Broncos.
Treadwell with Kubiak holding. Third long Bronco touchdown drive of the night. 21-9. down by 4 last week and won by 3. Now they're down 21-9 in miscommunication. And Worthen has to scramble just to keep possession at the 1-yard line. He and Manley got confused, and the Chiefs paid the price by starting this drive at the 1.
What a backbreaker. What a backbreaker. Of all the times you didn't need that to happen.
Both of them trying to make a big play, but you got to talk back there. Somebody has got to be the designated one to say, take it, or I've got it, or something. You've got to communicate when there are 2 back there. And they didn't do it. What a terrible time to have it happen.
Well, at least if one of them would have caught it, it wouldn't have been so bad.
Chiefs backed up to start this drive. And they play fake and buy some breathing space on a pass to Stephon Page out to the 7-yard line.
That's pretty gutsy stuff. You're in your own end zone. You put it out about as far as you can into the flat. But you can see how far Braxton is playing off. We talked about it earlier. He's playing back there 10, 12 yards. So you know you can go out there and get 3, 4, 5 every time you want to.
2nd and 4 from the 7. 6 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Again, the fake to Okoye, but a tip pass.
Oh, boy. And then a mugging by Mecklenburg.
And the muggy was Okoye.
And Carl has a little yuck. Cragen laughing about it, too. What a mugging he laid on Okoye. Watch this ball get tipped. Is it Cragen that gets it?
Yep.
Yeah, there's Cragen that gets it with his left hand right there. Okoye just standing there. Michael Brooks is the first one that hits him, and then Mecklenburg really gives him a kiss.
Boy, it gets busy around there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
3rd, a long 3 from the 7-yard line. And it's Page. First down, but he fumbles it, and it bounces right back into his hands. He got necktied by Henderson and winds up maintaining possession out of the 20-yard line.
50, 100 times that ball would not bounce like it did. Came off the turf and bounced right back into his hand. Now watch him go down.
Now, do you think 9 times out of 10 or 95 out of 100?
Smith strips it.
Oh, he
Look at
kicked
that.
it to him.
Kicked it to him.
Oh, gee.
Well, how about 1 in 1,000?
Oh, Elliott Smith's heel actually kicked it.
First down at the 20-yard line. And still nothing for the Nigerian Nightmare.
Well, look who's
having
there.
a nightmarish night, Steve Atwater.
I mean, that's the free safety, folks.
Denver defense on no-dos.
I mean, that's the free safety. That's a guy who normally is 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. He is now right on the line of scrimmage and crashing from the corner.
You know, Dan, you can play Kansas City that way because they really don't have the blazing speed on the outside.
Yep.
You can let your free safety roam like a linebacker because you know your cornerback, with help from linebackers, can cover the outside guys, and you don't have to have that free safety roaming deep downfield.
Well, I think it's safe to say that Carl Peterson and Marty Schottenheimer are well aware of that speed will be one of their future acquisitions, the very near future.
2nd and 11, and Okoye, and you can see why he only caught 2 balls last year. There's a flag down, even though that pass was a little errant.
Yeah, talk your way out of this.
Close to catching it.
Come on, talk your way out of this one now. How was he supposed to catch that?
Oh, well, I'm saying at least he could have made it look better.
You're right about that. I mean, he would have needed a net to get it.
5 yards and first down.
It's thrown behind the Nigerian Nightmare.
It's the form I'm talking about.
It does not look right to Taylor, does it?
Rice would have had it. Come on.
It was not Bolshoi in its movement. Nuriev, it was not. Yeah. We'll get Al. Al will go down to the locker room afterwards. You can tell him all about it.
I left. 1st and 10.
Whoa!
Berg, open, but dropping the ball was Rob Thomas.
Oh, and
His light bulb's out, and Atwater slipped. Watch this. Rob Thomas sees Steve Atwater, thinks he is going to take a major league stroke, doesn't realize that Atwater slips, and just loses concentration and drops the ball. Oh, Kansas City needed that.
Second and 10 at the 24. DeBerg comes right back to Thomas, and this time he holds on.
And more than that, he spins out of a tackle and gets the first down. And relax, Aaron. Sit back in your seat out there in Oregon. The youngster's doing all right.
Oh, yeah, he's not doing so all right now. He hasn't
get on the edge of your seat
got up
again.
yet. Was it Atwater that finally comes in against him? Atwater, a play late, ends up getting the hit on Thomas.
Watch him strip the tackle of Henderson here. Spins out of this one. And now the hit he didn't get a few moments ago, Atwater. He puts on him right here.
Right in the face.
And they take a timeout on the field with 4:05 left in the fourth.
They continue to work on Rob Thomas, but he is pretty alert. We had a close-up of a moment ago. He took quite a shot from Atwater. Atwater, nothing deliberate. It was just that Thomas was off balance. Now watch Thomas spin away from Henderson, gets the first down with a good effort, completely off balance here, and then takes that shot from number 27, Atwater, who goes about 220, while Thomas is about 170 pounds.
Thomas is awake. I'm not, as far as his alertness is concerned, he's still flat on his back and has made no effort to get up, but he is conscious. You can see him moving his arms, any movement of extremities. You can see after he took the shot, he came up to all fours and then rolled back over.
And I can tell you once again, his father, Aaron, a teammate of mine for many years with the Giants. I know he's looking on, probably concerned, and we certainly will get word as quickly as we can on the condition of Rob Thomas. But he didn't. He looked very alert as we were in close a while ago, and let's just hope that he's all right.
He is in a position, he's out of bounds after he took the hit, but he's close enough to the field that they cannot resume play until they take care of him, and he is still being attended to. And we can tell you that next week, Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Bringing out some things to immobilize Rob Thomas. You can see he has his head up off the ground as they're putting something on his neck. But that is a great sign when he can pick up his head like that and hold it up in the air by himself. So better to be cautious, better to be overly cautious in a situation like this than a little false bravado and hopping up. They're bringing out the cart. So we can only hope that Rob Thomas is feeling as good as we hope he's feeling. But what we see so far as the movement and the holding up of his head looks encouraging. They're doing the wave here in Mile High Stadium, so don't confuse that the Bronco fans are cheering his injury.
And he looks to be all right. I think he maybe even might have had a little bit of a concussion. Probably couldn't even tell them what was hurting, what the pain might have been. He looks to be all right, though.
Good.
We will check on it and get the word out.
One thing that young Mr. Thomas just found out is that Steve Atwater is a big safety, 220 pounds, and he will pop you.
And he will chase you all over the field. As he slipped on the last play on the far sideline and then came back to deliver the hit on the near side, and we will get further word on Rob Thomas as play resumes now with DeBerg leading the Chiefs to the line on a drive that you'll recall started back at the 1-yard line after the fumble kickoff. 1st and 10 for Kansas City at the 42-yard line. 3:51 to go, third quarter. Denver leads by 12. Against the grain, the pass goes to Emil Harry, and he's taken out of bounds at the 50-yard line by the omnipresent Steve Atwater.
Well, Carl Mecklenburg right now, though, is the Denver Bronco that says, I can't believe this happened to me. He's got the contain to that side, and he goes too flat to the line of scrimmage and allows Steve DeBerg to get to the outside. Carl casting a wry little look back to DeBerg that I can't believe someone with your foot speed got to my outside.
2nd and 2 from the 50. And DeBerg's throw is caught at the 49-yard line. That's Alfredo Roberts, the tight end, and he doesn't get the first down. Michael Brooks made sure of that, and that's going to set up a 3rd and a long one, close to 2, at the 49-yard line.
Well, you know who the Broncos are going to be keying here. The nightmare is in the lineup, but the Chiefs are also going to go with 2 backs. Looks like Bill Jones is going to remain in there as well.
Who would have believed that? A 5-to-1 ratio passing to rushing for the Chiefs.
Well, Denver has literally, Al, forced them into that.
And if you think of the frequency, they have sent the Nigerian Nightmare off the tackle, and this time he'll get it.
Out of a tight formation, he picks up 5, taking it to the 45-yard line. And the initial report we get from the locker room of Kansas City is that Rob Thomas suffered a concussion.
Very believable.
And you can understand his caution to play prior to that.
Well, we have to realize that we're witnessing quite a drive here by the Kansas City Chiefs. When you realize that they're trailing 21-9, had a mistake on their kickoff return and had to start literally on their own goal line. This is an extremely impressive drive.
And this is the 10th play of that drive. And here's Okoye. He bumps off a couple of would-be tacklers.
Whoa.
Look at the price that Tyrone Braxton pays.
I don't know that. I don't know if that was a tackle or a human sacrifice.
Braxton comes up looking like he's been in an auto wreck.
Whoa!
The jersey's askew, the helmet sideways.
This is more along the lines of a Nigerian mugging.
Give Braxton credit. He hung in there.
Tyrone will get up and say, boy, I showed him something, didn't I?
How about that? You take that one.
Where is he?
Who was it?
First down, 31.
What was it?
Fake to Okoye. That's good news to Braxton. But the pass is knocked away at the goal line by Braxton.
Oh, should have been picked off, and Braxton knows it. Right in his hands. More than that, he timed it all the way.
Oh, he did.
Read DeBerg, who was, even though it was play action, was looking all the way at the receiver, Manley, and Braxton was just laying back in the weeds, had that all picked off, but he knows he should have had it. DeBerg never even saw it.
A lucky break for Kansas City.
2nd and 10 at the 31. 1 minute and 7 seconds left in the quarter. And that pass is errant, intended for Manley, making it 3rd down and 10.
One of the few bad throws on the part of DeBerg, but that was a bad throw. But he got that out there, and it could have been a cross-up because he's saying something to Manley. And actually he's turning over, I guess, to pick up the play. No, he did have a word with Manley. DeBerg, one of the most studious quarterbacks, according to Marty Schottenheimer, he's ever been around. He said he comes in at 7 o'clock in the morning. He's there when everyone leaves.
They need some more yardage here. This would be a 48-yarder if they had to kick it from here. They'd like to have a few more yards if they had to have a Lowry field goal.
3rd and 10. They sent 5 receivers into the pattern, and the pass is incomplete, intended for McNair. He took a hit. Tip Corrington was there. He's a hard hitter, as the Raiders will attest to after last week.
And Atwater also was there.
Now Corrington gets everybody. Corrington not only gets the receiver, he gets both his own guys as well. There's Atwater with the coverage. Look at Corrigan come in there. Atwater barely escapes the shot.
And you saw Lowry. They're not going to send him in. On 4th and 10 from the 31, it would be a 48-yard field goal. I think it's more a function of the score, though, not a lack of confidence in them. They're down by 12.
Well, I'm not so sure about this. Still a full quarter to go.
There's a flag, and there's no play. The play was whistled dead at the inception. There was
a 4th and 2 or a 4th and 3. It was a full 4th and 10.
Very curious call. As Goodburn's punt will be downed if they can get to it No.
Oh.
They couldn't get, they had every chance in the world to down it inside the 5 and couldn't do it. Chiefs were saying, oh, yeah, we got it. But the official says, no, sir. Stan Petrie came up with it.
Ooh, a mistake on both.
10 in the final minute of the third quarter. Humphrey to the 29. Take another look now. At the
I don't see any way you can fault the officials for ruling that a touchback. But certainly the Chiefs have to take a little blame for being so cavalier about covering that ball that they let it get that close.
Third quarter is done. 21-9 is the score. It's 9:30 in Denver. Do you know where your children are?
I got a little boy who likes older women.
It's cute. Start the fourth quarter, 1st and 10. Denver from the 29-yard line, and Elway on first down.
Oh, give me the flag. Give me the flag.
There it is.
Mark Jackson was held up, you might say, by J.C. Pearson.
He was defrocked by J.C. Pearson.
Undressed. Denuded.
He also knew that he was beat. Better that than watching Jackson walk into the end zone.
Well, happy to report Rob Thomas, only a concussion and nothing else. But he was he's the son of a all about. If Frank looks tired, he had to get up for the 2 o'clock feeding. And then once he finished with Dan and me, he took care of Cody.
There's Derek Thomas. He hasn't been a big factor in this ball. He's down again. 2nd
and 10 from the 46-yard line.
Oh, and Derek Thomas knocks it down.
And there's a flag. Ball and rangy. Flag is down on an inside handoff to Sewell. He can't have third down opportunities. And it should be a free play for Elway. There are all kinds of flags, 3 of them. They do because they accepted one of the penalties. Huge penalty. 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line, and it's a one-hopper incomplete.
Who drew the flag's been replaced by Albert Lewis.
Humphrey to the 44-yard line. Yield 13:35 to play. Broncos lead by a dozen. Elway sacked at the 39-yard line. The secondary did its job, and then Derek Thomas cashes in with a sack.
Secondary really did their job, Dan. That was the reason that John Elway had to pull it down.
I think Thomas is going to work against Clarence Kay, the tight end. Not a bad job by Kay. This is a secondary sack. John Elway scans the field and pulls it back down, and by that time Derek Thomas gets in. But again, credit the guys in the backfield for the Chiefs. They can cover people.
Naz Worthen to receive the kick. Mike Horan, whose earlier boot was 15 yards, atoned for it. Worthen at the 10 escapes the first would-be tackler and brings it back to the 14. Shannon Sharp is down there to make the stop at the 14-yard line, and so Kansas City will begin its drive from there after a 50-yard punt. His knee came close to going down here as he makes the reception at the 10.
Montgomery down there quickly.
That should have been down right there.
It was only a yard or 2 difference.
The truck, great pictures. They got one, missed the other.
First down from the 10, and DeBerg just throws it away. Broncos want a grounding call, but there is no flag. Jake McCullough was the guy who put the pressure on, the backup defensive end.
Boy, it looked like Jim Tunney went to the holster. I saw his right arm go back like he was getting ready to grab for that flag. He's already he got Steve DeBerg one time for intentional grounding and thought about it that time.
Yep. He asked DeBerg, who are you throwing to? And he said, Otis Taylor. Okay. 2nd and 10 from the 10. Over the middle, finding the seam at the 25-yard line is Pete Manley. And out to the 29 for a first down.
Oh, a fine pass protection by the Kansas City offensive line. Talk about giving your quarterback a chance to look downfield and pick out a receiver. A crossing pattern by Manley, and it takes time to get open on that pass route. Good work by those guys up front. How about the size of that John Alt, the left tackle? We were looking at him as we walked off during pregame warm-up.
300-pounder. First down from the 29-yard line. And nobody close.
Mecklenburg spun DeBerg around, ripped off his jersey. DeBerg was just able to get that ball off.
Yeah, and guess who he went around? We were just talking about John Alt.
It's a long way around him. He's 6'7" and 300, but Mecklenburg was there. Watch him, 77, top of your screen. That's Alt, number 76. Here comes Mecklenburg, and watch what he does to DeBerg.
Well, the guy who really saved the situation was that looks like Grunhard, the center, that came back and picked enough off of Mecklenburg that he didn't get a hard hit on DeBerg.
2nd and 10 from the 29. 12:03 to play. Emil Harry.
Nice coverage.
Oh, beautiful. Just the way we put it on the board.
Bumped out by Henderson at the 45-yard line. First down.
Someone in an orange jersey neglected to cover Emil Harry. They're so far away, I'm not sure that we could even pick anyone out. Mecklenburg was on him and then fell off going back into his zone.
Guy looked like he might have belonged out there was Michael Brooks, but if you don't know the defense, it's hard to pinpoint him.
Harry's 5th catch of the night. Good for 17. First down from the 45. Okoye, well, this is what we were talking about before.
Oh, don't get...
2nd and 10. Look out. Fletcher came flying through, but Harry makes the catch, and he's out of bounds at the 30. Is the sole running back, and he gets the ball and takes it to the 32-yard line, stopped by Craig.
Might as well go back in the huddle.
2nd and 6. Page, nice catch. Out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Make it 70 yards. 1st and 10 from the 20. There's a play. Oh, Fletcher, it's a live ball. It's picked up by Mecklenburg, who takes it to the 39.
And Steve DeBerg is still down at the 25, slowly getting up.
Never suspected that Fletcher was coming free. Looking downfield, he took a shot in the back and just now was able to get up.
Well, it looked like the back on the play was supposed to have the block on Simon Fletcher. You know, the patented play action look by Kansas City. Oh, DeBerg really took it.
What a way to take the heart out of an offensive ball club. They're moving the ball well. They're moving it downfield. Watch the bottom of your screen. 73. DeBerg never saw him. Boom. He gets pounded. And watch Mecklenburg. He tucks that ball away. Moves it so it'll be away from the tackler.
That was Bill Jones, the back in there that tried to block Fletcher.
Elway on a roll and then throws it into the hands and out of the hands of Mark Jackson. Just threw a bullet there, and Jackson couldn't hang on.
Well, I said it's a physical game tonight. We have seen some tremendous hits.
Second and 10. Fletcher, in his last 6 games against the Chiefs, has made his presence felt.
When you're going to play a team that does a lot of play action passing, the pressure has to come off the corners. And it's Fletcher and Mecklenburg, the firm sitting there on the bench, that have to supply that pressure.
2nd and 10, and Elway too high for Johnson. And Elway paid the price that time in the form of the hit from Sally Amua. Dapper Dan, plan B pickup, and what a pickup he turned out to be.
Dan the nose guard.
What he allowed Kansas City to do was to adjust their defense. He took over nose tackle and that enabled them to move Bill Moss out to defensive end, and the defense gelled midway through of last season and turned in, as what we said earlier, to the 2nd-ranked defense in the entire league. So he's been a big part of it.
Came over from the Lions. 3rd and 10.
Too bad that Sally Amua couldn't have been on the same line with Tuiasa Sopo.
Oh, yeah, thanks. The deal at the 31-yard line, fighting for a first down, and may have had it. He made the catch at the 30, needs to get to the 29, and that's about where they're going to spot it.
What did Dan Reeves tell us last night? We just don't know about Ricky Natil. We're going to give him a lot of work. His leg is still weak, and Natil has made a couple of big plays tonight. On this one, is just an extra effort on the part of the speedster from Florida.
Oh, that wasn't a catch.
Whoa.
That's no catch, boys.
No catch.
No, Mr. Review, go to work.
Next sound you'll hear is a whistle from the umpire.
That's no catch. That's a trap all the way by Ricky Natile.
Well, they're going to measure for the moment to see if it's a first down, but they're also going to check upstairs.
Everyone is looking next door to the booth there. I mean, that is a trap.
Not even a good one.
No. That is, they have measured and given a first down to Denver, but we're waiting for the umpire to step over the ball.
Well, they've congregated. You've got a quintet of officials at the 30-yard line.
I mean, that's... Yeah,
The Broncos are up the line of scrimmage. They're trying to run off a play, but they're not going to let them do it.
No.
Catch is being reviewed.
Yes, Jim Tunney tells the crowd here that it's being reviewed. Ooh, they won't like it.
Being reviewed and rescinded.
It'll be a mile-high chorus when this is announced.
The play is being reversed. The ball hit the ground. Incomplete pass.
You know what? That's a good job by Jim Tunney of letting the crowd here know exactly what happened by saying the ball hit the ground. That's good work by a referee of letting the people know who bought these seats and aren't sitting in front of a television set exactly what happened.
And the crowd reacted. And they were not outraged by it whatsoever.
So instead of a first down, remember that was a third down play.
Yeah, it looked like Dan Reeves might have been expecting them just to be looking at it to see exactly where to spot the ball.
They bring it back to the 39-yard line.
Dan Reeves acting like he normally does when he listens to a call-in show here in Denver.
Or reads the paper. Haran to kick. Whoa, and the Chiefs came across, and naturally they'll point at the Broncos.
Well, either way, if it is against Denver, it won't be good enough for anything near if it's against Kansas City, rather, not anything near a first down yardage, as it's 4th and a full 10.
Time had appeared to have run out also.
No, I think there was still was 9 seconds left on the clock.
If it's against Kansas City, it puts them in position to kick a field goal. It would be about a 51, 52-yarder. If it's against Kansas City.
Yeah, but what they pass on, the Chiefs passed on a 48. We'll see if they give Treadwell a chance from that kind of distance. Dan Reeves working the crowd.
Glad he had his arteries cleaned out, huh?
False start offense. 5 yards. Fourth down.
So it goes against Denver.
That was a field goal problem.
Certainly does.
Actually, doesn't hurt them on the punt. It
doesn't hurt them on the punt, but again, it takes them out of what might have been field goal range. And if you kick a field goal right now, that's as good as gold. That gives you a 15-point lead. Here we go again. Well, you've got Charles Washington for the Chiefs.
Encroachment. 46.
It's like a yo-yo.
I dare Denver to go offsides again.
He's trying to block it, and they do. A block kick at the 22-yard line and out of bounds. It was Albert Lewis.
He just splits the outside, and it looked like Haran was really far off to the right. Let's see if Haran steps that direction. He does. He aims and kicks it right into Albert Lewis. Rather than kicking it down the middle of the field, Haran spins and kicks it right into that man, Albert Lewis.
He has 6 blocks during the regular season and 1 in the playoffs in his career. And Okoye really gets banged back at the 14. And who else could do that but Atwater?
You know, Dan and I talked about this down on the field earlier. I said somewhere tonight there's going to be one of the great collisions when Atwater, who hits like a tank, is going to collide with
Well,
Christian Okoye.
I don't know if Franklin Okoye has ever gone backwards like that. Charlie Waters told us down on the field before the game, the secondary coach for Denver, my guys have their big boy pads on tonight. Atwater has his big boy pads on.
2nd and 7. Here's Okoye with room inside the 10 and upended at the 6-yard line. Wyman Henderson. It will be a 1st and goal.
Boy, and Okoye came right back and punished Henderson. But what a collision a moment ago with Atwater and Okoye.
Here goes Okoye to the outside.
He's looking for something to hit.
Yeah, he is. And I think a rather intelligent move by Wyman Henderson, taking him on somewhere between.
It is the up back Bill Jones. For Page, touchdown, but a flag down. A flag down to the end zone. Elliott's his 9th catch of the night. He's had a big night, 123 yards. Extra point by Lowry is good. We have 8:01 remaining, and it's 21-16.
And it would be 21-19 if they made that 48-yard field goal that they passed on at the end of the 3rd quarter.
Pretty much taken Elway out of the game, the Denver offense out of the game here in the 2nd half. And if they come back and win this, it's going to be shared with the defense, most certainly. They have stayed in it. They have been able to stymie the Denver offense here in the 2nd half, and they kept themselves in it. Now all of a sudden they're only 5 back.
And Lowry to kick off. Montgomery and Winder back for Denver. Sammy Winder settles for the touchback. 7:54 remaining in the game, and a look ahead. Each team with all of their timeouts remaining. Chiefs on their drive. 1st down Denver from the 20 and nothing doing as Steve Sewell cannot get on track. Tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. I think it was Derek Thomas who was in there, and it was who makes the initial contact. And Sewell comes out on 2nd down and 9. 21-16. Again, Denver with a loss would not only be 0-2, but 0-2 in head-to-head against the Raiders and Kansas City, and 2 down in division play, which could be very significant at the end of the year. 2nd and 9. There was a flag thrown. They may have been moving on the right side of the Broncos.
Good play, then another drop pass. Very inconsistent.
No reason for that, Dan. He wasn't the prime receiver.
2nd and 14. Look out. Elway escapes the sack the first time, but not the second. As Hackett. They have to get to the 30 for the 1st down, and the pass is knocked away. In
Here for the first time.
Haran, a wobbly kick. It takes a very good Denver bounce, and then Worthen falls down. And again, not a thing of beauty except on the stat sheet.
Worthen around on an F-18 for about an hour.
Meanwhile, who would believe those numbers? The Chiefs, a 4-to-1 ratio passing to running. Okoye makes the catch, which is news, and then takes it out to the 41 for a gain of 7. Mark Munford makes the tackle.
Good. The good soft hands of Christian Okoye on display there. Watch the fluid grace as he comes out.
This is a good picture of him, too, and
look at
he
this.
really is light on his feet. Once he holds on to the football, watch the cut back to the inside.
Well, he caught 24 when you look back to his rookie season.
Hey, a good tackle there by Munford, huh?
2nd and 3. Okoye, and he leans, he angles his body and picks up the 1st down by doing so out to the 45-yard line. 1st down from the 45. To Berg, to Harry.
Oh, he gets
50. He makes the catch, and 24 remaining. 4th quarter. Denver ahead by 5.
Here comes the blitz.
And the Berg gets sacked. Number
Michael
56, Michael Brooks.
Somebody's got to get him. You cannot be allowed to blitz free through the center guard gap. And that is exactly where Michael Brooks came. I mean, he walked right up into that. Okoye is the person responsible for it. Watch Okoye in the backfield, but look how slow he is to react. I mean, that's a situation. Oftentimes you'll see that when he gets up in that gap, the back will actually have to come up and get closer to the line of scrimmage before the snap of the ball.
He sees Brooks comes up into that gap. He's got to move over and adjust.
3rd and 17. And behind the intended receiver, Todd McNair. So it's 4th and 17. And the Chiefs are forced to kick. And then, in all likelihood, use their timeouts on defense with 3:52 remaining.
And we talked about the Chiefs defense keeping them in it. Yeah. Now the Broncos defense has kept their lead.
Yep, and they have to stop Denver without a first down is what it amounts to.
You know, going back to the Okoye not picking up Michael Brooks, keep in mind, this is a guy who's normally off the field when Kansas City is going through their passing game. He's been excluded from their passing game, and maybe that's an adjustment that's just foreign to him. And I don't mean foreign because he's from Nigeria.
Goodburn taken at the 24 by Johnson. He is inbounds. He never stepped out and takes it to the 48. And he's tackled by the punter, Goodburn.
Yeah, the Vance will now have to live with the shame of all kick returners. An open field tackle by the kicker. The Vance will take some real grief from his teammates as Goodburn really comes up with a good tackle.
Yeah. What a great move, though, Johnson puts on here about the 30-yard line. Spinning out of one tackle, staying in bounds, and that's not easy, down the sideline. And then Goodburn is able to make the open field tackle.
3:39 remaining. First down from the 48-yard line, and Bobby Humphrey takes it to the 42. Going to be 2nd and 5. Chiefs right now are really in no man's land as to whether you take the timeout or not here. They have delay and a first down for Humphrey, who's had a big night, taking it to the 26-yard line. Bobby Humphrey on his last carry went up and over the 100-yard mark.
Well, I think Bobby,
on a night where you herald Okoye as the key guy, Humphreys just had the biggest rushing day in the league this weekend, 118 yards. And if you saw the numbers from yesterday, there was only one guy over 100, and that was Marion Butts of San Diego in a game against Cincinnati.
Well, what a different dimension that Humphreys added to the Denver Bronco team. He did it last year with a 1,000-yard plus season, but it's a luxury that they have not had in the past.
100-yard games are becoming few and far between this year, because last week you only had 2, Sammy Smith and Neil Anderson, and just 2 this week.
I like that 7 yards per carry.
Humphrey needs 10 more to match his career best.
That 7 yard per carry average is even stronger than the 118 yards.
It just went down to about 6.6.
Yeah.
No gain here, 2nd and 10.
So shoot me.
Yeah, right. What do you think, Frank?
I don't know who's doing the calculator here.
Yeah, well, don't bring a slingshot.
Okoye tonight, 20 carries, 69 yards. That's about 3.5.
LA will look up at the end zone clock that is ticking off the 25 seconds. He'll take it right down to the final second before he snaps the ball.
2nd and 10 for the 26. Bratton.
See, this is something, gentlemen, as we look back to the Chiefs and their offensive problems tonight, I think this is something they're going to have to deal with from here on out. I think from a defensive coordinator's point of view, the easiest part of a game to take away from an offensive team is their running attack, especially if it comes from predominantly one person. I mean, you know, we saw the Bears do it to Eric Dickerson in the playoffs. You can take it away by overloading the line of scrimmage. The Kansas City Chiefs, if they're to win this year, are going to have to learn to win by throwing the football with more than just play-action passes.
The Broncos did a job on Okoye tonight. They strung it out, and he is not the kind of runner that can cut back into it. And in the first half in particular, they absolutely stymied him on either side of the line.
Chiefs just took their last time out. Dan, your point is well taken, Dan, because tonight the Chiefs proved they can put a lot of yardage on the board through the air, and yet they're still on the short end.
Right. Once again, though, Wade Phillips proves that he's one of the superior defensive coordinators in the game.
Here's Elway. Stopped at the 21. Chiefs are out of timeouts, but the clock will stop at the 2-minute warning.
This guy's going to be a head coach in this league before long. He already was for a short-term basis with the New Orleans Saints. Took over for his dad.
Yeah, he's wildly successful in New Orleans. Yeah. And did, of course, in the shadow of Buddy Ryan, you didn't hear much about him. He comes here, and he's been a bit of a boy genius. We'll be right back.
With a field goal attempt. What's at stake for a few folks around the country, too.
Oh, no.
We're not allowed to talk about that, right? But
he missed it.
The kick is wide to the left. And the Chiefs are still breathing.
There's Albert Lewis that had the blocked punt earlier. It led to a Kansas City touchdown. Al, what were you talking about a minute ago when you were talking about it means a lot to a lot of other people?
I'm thinking of a euphemism here. I haven't come up with one yet.
I didn't understand what you were trying to say. What are you trying to say there?
Well, you know,
what a great team player he is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thanks. Well, some teams are thought to be a certain amount better than other teams.
Oh, I see. I see.
In different degrees.
And to different degrees, exactly right.
Well, let's see if Kansas City here can spread it around.
Yeah. I like that. First down from the 21-yard line.
Uh-oh. Offside.
That's John Old again.
False start.
False start. Number 76. 5 yards, still first down.
Alt caught a couple of times tonight. Perhaps looking across the line of scrimmage at number 77. Carl Mecklenburg, who's been lined up across from him all night long.
You know, I think offensive tackles, when they operate out of that two-point stance, I think it's easier to find yourself back on your heels and moving out of that stance before the snap of the ball. I think you're really much more prone to having that false start when you're up and off the ground. Here the whole Chief line is up off the ground.
First and 15. Remember, the Chiefs do not have a timeout. Getting free was Page, and Page is across the 50.
Goodbye.
Page is out in front, and Page will go all the way for a touchdown.
Well, well, well. Can you believe this?
No. Like I said earlier, they rarely get a pass play over 30 yards. A missed tackle. Don't go away. 1:44 remaining. Denver with 3 timeouts. But what a great play. A zone defense, a prevent defense, whatever you want to call it. And DeBerg split it perfectly.
That's Elliott Smith.
Takes his shot up about the 5-yard line. Now he's in between, in the gap between the zones.
And there's the missed tackle by Corrington. And that's the critical factor in this play. Kip Corrington, the safety, coming over. That's his play, and he goes for the big hit. Misses it, and there's a touchdown.
We talked about it before. He loves to hit hard, and he picked the wrong time to do it. You're going to hit somebody hard, you got to make sure you get him, and he didn't. And the next thing you know, you got an 83-yard touchdown. And the 10th catch of the night for Stephon Page. Extra point by Lowry was good.
Guys, let's go ahead and roll this tape, and we'll show where the big play comes. We'll show where Corrington misses it. Okay, right there is the hit by Smith. Now keep an eye on this guy right here. Move it up. Okay, stop it right there. There, you see right here is where Corrington, rather than being in front where he can make the tackle, he's behind. And Stephon Page, after that missed tackle, has nothing but a whole lot of empty field in front of him. A gamble by Corrington that backfires badly.
1:44 remaining.
Interesting, a couple of weeks ago, we saw Montana rip New Orleans prevent defense. Final seconds of play down there. Denver goes into it here. And albeit it should have been a tackle by Corrington, the prevent gives up a go-ahead touchdown. But we still got John Elway coming onto the field with 3 timeouts to work with. And if you've watched him over the years, you know that nobody does it better.
And a field goal, again, as we'll remind you, wins it for Denver. They only trail by a deuce.
And DeBerg in his first ever start on Monday Night Football, 395 yards. Winder from the 2 gets taken down by Bill Jones at the 17.
Now, I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this ball game, but with Kansas City clinging to a 2-point lead, again, I have to remind everybody about the 48-yard field goal they did not attempt at the end of the third quarter. If they would have attempted it and made it, they would now have a 5-point lead, and it would take a touchdown to beat them.
Hey, big numbers on the night, bringing in the oxygen again. The altitude here in Denver, they call it the Mile High City, is 5,000 plus.
First down, Denver, 17-yard line. Elway, errant pass. Steve Sewell, the intended receiver.
Errant pass, but again, fine coverage. J.T. Pearson providing the coverage on Sewell, and Elway really had no place to put that ball.
I'm not so sure that that's not a full throwaway by John.
Absolutely.
The way Sewell was covered. And the best day, or in this case, night, that Steve DeBerg has ever had. And if he wins this game, along with this Kansas City ball club, I'm sure the most satisfied.
Again, no team starting the year 0-2 has ever gone to the Super Bowl. Elway, who is 0 for 7 in this quarter, connects out at the 34-yard line. It is ruled a catch at the 34 by Michael Young.
Great possession receiver. He went down low to get the football. And
yeah,
we have an inch way back at the 5-yard line.
I think it's Neil Smith.
And that stops the clock at 1:16.
Yeah, see, this doesn't serve Kansas City's purposes at all, guys.
Well, they haven't told anybody yet.
Look, they're in the huddle. There's the ball.
That's Chris Martin says, hey, guys, up here.
I think maybe the officials should have told the players that they took the ball and moved it. This is like an Easter egg hunt out here. It has already been officially reversed. Well, now they finally told the players.
Reversal, it'll be 2nd down.
2nd and 10 back at the 17.
And I can guarantee you by Dan Reeves' reaction, he saw the ball hit the ground when Young attempted to catch it.
They would have gotten away with it had not the clock been stopped because of the injury to Smith. They were about ready to snap it.
I think you're right.
Still, they have 3 timeouts with 1:16.
The down marker says 2nd. It should be 3rd. Remember the errant pass to Sewell?
And that hit the ground.
And now it should be the down marker says 2nd. They're going to put it to 3. Wait till the crowd sees this. It's really 4th down. They're behind by a down. They're behind by a down. It's really 4th now. Wait till the crowd sees this.
You can hear him on the sideline.
It's 4th down. Remember, you had the pass that Sewell couldn't catch. You had the reversal on Young, and you had the last play. It's 4th down.
Schottenheimer is over on the far side. He's screaming. That's 4th down.
Yep, that's what it is.
The closed fist is the sign for 4th down. This hasn't escaped Marty Schottenheimer's attention.
4th down. He's exactly right.
Of course, that dramatically affected the call that was sent in to John Elway.
Here comes Neil Smith back into the ball game.
Elway is now 0 for 9 during the 4th quarter. I think Tunney's going to check with the sideline. He's going to check with the play-by-play people upstairs who keep the play-by-play to go back and see the sequence of plays. But we know what they are. You have had the benefit of seeing the pass to Sewell that never got there, the reversal on the Young non-catch,
and now
the last play.
Completion.
So it should be 4th down.
And there's the communication.
And the problem was they never moved the down marker after the reversal.
Now, they've now moved one of the down indicators to 4th down, and now they moved them both. The scoreboard, though, here at Mile High still says 3rd down.
Well, what Jim forgot was the extra play. He had said 2nd and 10 after the reversal.
4th down.
Okay. Well, the crowd is chanting something, and we can't think of a euphemism for that either.
Well,
what a strange way to end a
start.
really solid football game.
4th and 10 at the 17. Elway for Johnson, who's out in front, and he makes the catch. He beats Kevin Ross.
I don't believe it. Johnson. The Vance. He beats Kevin Ross, all-pro cornerback. Elway got all the time you could imagine. You would have thought they would have been putting much more pressure on Elway. They call timeout. Well, they're in field goal range already with 1 minute remaining and a couple of timeouts.
Well, guys, not only does Ross get beat, but even the biggest mistake is the safety. Which safety is it back there that is late reacting? Maybe we can get it on this replay. But there was a Kansas City free safety sitting back there. There he is, Jeff Donaldson. And Jeff Donaldson, whose play that is, all the way is nowhere to be seen.
Elway steps back in. Good protection.
See Donaldson? Donaldson is trailing that play, leaving Ross all alone.
He was looking into Elway. I don't think he even saw Vance Johnson coming across field.
How far?
Kevin Ross in man for man.
How far did John Elway throw that ball in the air?
He whipped it about 50.
Oh, Treadwell warming up. Remember, a field goal wins it for Denver. It's as simple as that, and he is just about within range. His career high is 46. He's done that twice. If they don't gain another yard, he's looking at about a 51-yarder.
Oh, what an ending to this game.
Minute to play, 2 timeouts remaining for the Broncos. First down at the 34. And Elway throwing it behind Vance Johnson, who had cut back in from the sideline. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Elway actually trying to get the screen off to Bratton, and Kansas City had destroyed that. They had floated out with him, and he had to go upfield with him, and he just threw the incompletion.
Second and 10.
Here's where, as the Kansas City defense, you've got to be concerned about John Elway now hurting you by running the football.
Or even deliberately on a draw play.
Yep.
Catch is made. Jackson, first down at the 20-yard line. Mark Jackson.
Oh, the Amigos have performed here in the closing few minutes of this ball game.
Denver takes a timeout.
They have 1 left, and we have 45 seconds on the clock.
The scoreboard is showing 2 timeouts left for the Broncos.
They better get that corrected.
Yep, or the crowd will go nuts once again.
They
only have 1. Yeah, and the scoreboard here at Mile High is showing 2.
And so much for shortening these games up, huh?
Frank, you were right at the outset. I thought you were going to win the Hype Award. We got a classic on our hands. We do.
Who else would you rather have running a 2-minute drill in this match? John Elway. He can kill you both ways. You cover the receivers. He'll run out of the pocket, get the yardage.
Guy we saw last week isn't too bad either. Last Monday, we watched Montana march the Niners down the field to win it. Elway tries to duplicate the feat here with 45 seconds left. First down at the 18-yard line. And this is Steve Sewell.
Yeah, I think this is where you don't give up trying to score a touchdown.
No, I agree.
Why?
Well, they're not. They're going for it.
Yeah, take your crack. Try one in the end zone.
Darn right.
2nd and 10, and Elway throws it away with 25 seconds remaining.
I don't know that I would just automatically entrust this to David Treadwell.
Yep, you're looking at especially with Albert Lewis on the other side.
Schottenheimer looking at another defeat. David Treadwell, the chip shot. Good to win it. 24-23, and Vance Johnson reflects back on the big catch that set up the winning score.
Coming back to the huddle, I said, John, throw me the ball. And he said, you got him, VJ? I said, I got him. And I lined up, and I just took off right off the line of scrimmage.
You got two very good football teams out there playing, and neither one.
Game of the season. There's no telling just how far this Bronco team will go, but if in fact they do make it to the Super Bowl, they may look back on the drive by John Elway that led to the winning field goal as the biggest drive of the season.
we lost this game the way it happened, people would have put us down. But I think it proved that we weren't going to fold, and we're going to be a good team this year.
It gives the team confidence. You know, we got a lot of young players who haven't seen John do that type of thing. Us older guys know he's capable of anything at any time, and, you know, it'll give us confidence, and we'll keep plugging away after seeing something like that.
And it was something to see. 4th and 10 at the Broncos 17, just over a minute left, and the big play that would lead to the winning field goal. Elway, 49 yards to Vance Johnson, the Kansas City Chiefs 34.
I thought they'd be playing the zone and sitting back on 4th and 10, and they blocked the blitz off the strong side, and the free safety disappeared, and that's where Vance came into play.
Coming back to the huddle, I said, John, throw me the ball. And he said, you got him, VJ? I said, I got him. And I lined up, and I just took off right off the line of scrimmage, and I saw the safety looking in at Mike since we ran the same play. And John just put it up there. He gave it all he had.
Earlier, when Steve DeBerg, who passed for a career-high 390 yards, got 83 of them on a touchdown pass to Stephon Page with just 1:46 left, it looked like the Chiefs had won for the first time in 7 years at Mile High Stadium.
It was almost like a win. You know, you felt like it was a win up till at the very end, and then it just got away. So, you know, we played an outstanding football team that responded when the game was on the line. That's why they've been in the Super Bowl recently.
Except for the big play at the end, the Broncos defense got the job done, limiting Christian Okoye to 69 yards on 20 carries. And everyone's still talking about safety Steve Atwater's hit on the Nigerian Nightmare in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, I remember the play. It was just a play where he was going full steam and I was going full steam, and something had to happen.
And so the Broncos win the must game, even though it's only the second contest of the season. And Chiefs coach Marty Schottenheimer must be wondering what he has to do to beat the Denver Broncos. From out
50 yards, he came to the front last night. Then Elway hit Mark Jackson down to the 18. Treadwell, after missing that 38-yarder, hit the 22-yarder, and that was it. And afterward, both coaches sound like they were just glad to have been a part of the game.
It was a great win for us. You know, certainly both teams deserved to win. They did a great job of hanging in there and going ahead there at the end. Looks like, you know, they got the game won. But, you know, our offense was able to come up with some plays there in the 2-minute period that, you know, made the difference.
It was a great football game. There is no doubt. I think Dan hit the nail on the head in a comment he made earlier in the week. You know, you get into these kinds of games and you make plays, and we made a couple, but they had a chance to make the last one. And but you know, you got two very good football teams out there playing, and neither one of them knows what the word quit means.
We can go deep and catch long passes, and I'm sure John loves it too, because John's a great quarterback and he wants to show that arm out.
Couple more plays got the Broncos to the 4-yard line. They let the clock run down to 4 seconds, and David Treadwell kicked the winning field goal, bailing out a Bronco team that could have easily fallen to 0-2.
Forward to go 0-2 in the division. I think it'll really help.